Welcome, professionals, high achievers, and leaders. This week, we are talking about something really, really exciting. One of the most fun hacks that I love when it comes to advancing your career. And if you are just joining us this month, the month of November, we are talking about mindset hacks, tricks, and tips in order to help you advance in your career. And this week, it's all about visualization. This week, we're talking about visualization because it is one of the most powerful hacks, tips, tricks, whatever you want to call it, in order to help advance your career. And I bet you you're probably already doing it. You see, most of us have these brains that are visualizing and creating images and thoughts that are running wild, whether it's for the negative or the positive in our lives. And if you have not watched it yet or listened to it yet, Jack and I just yesterday dropped a podcast episode on the Career Advancement Academy. And for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, we record those episodes and drop the video of it on this channel. So go and check it out. But what we talk about in that episode is we talk about the actual scientific benefits of visualization. And one of the things that I want to talk about today is the emotional part of visualization, because sometimes if we're just talking about the science, right, we're not really connecting to the visualization. And so that's a really key critical part, right? You might have friends, family members, or even yourself who have put together a vision board, they slap it on the wall, and then a couple of years later, you're like, well, nothing really happened. Well, it's because we're not embodying that vision. We're not feeling the emotions that are attached to the vision that we have created. And so I'm going to talk about today why that part is so important. And if you stay tuned until the end, I'm actually going to lead you through a visualization myself, which is the first time I'm doing it. So bear with me. I'm excited to actually lead you through one. So what we talked about yesterday in the Career Advancement Academy podcast is really the scientific benefits of visualization. And we went over some of what has happened in our lives when we use visualization ourselves. But what's really interesting is about this thing called neuroplasty, right? Neuroplasty is the brain plasticity, right? Also known as neuroplasty, that describes the brain's remarkable ability to rewire and reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. It basically is the brain's way of upgrading its own system, right? Because think about it. If you were still on the same system that you were born with, or even the same system that you had a couple years ago, and you weren't continually adapting and growing and your brain was continually changing, things would be a little weird, right? But what's interesting is that we can take control of the ways that our brains are adapting and changing and rewire those pathways actively. Because the fact of the matter is that your brain is constantly rewiring itself by the fact that we're constantly taking in new information. Just by you watching this video, your brain is shifting and making small changes because you're taking in new information. And it's not just this video. It's you watching the news, looking around. And in fact, we take in hundreds and hundreds of advertisements every single day, just simply by looking around us. Here at my desk, I've got Purell right here. I have the company that made my water thing. I have Kleenex. You're constantly getting advertisements coming into our brain, but that's the same with people's opinions, thoughts, fears, and anxieties, the media, and everyone around us. And so all of that information is being taken in, and our brain is forming a belief system an opinion and creating a new neural pathway. And if we're not being cognizant or intentional about the information that we're taking in, well, those pathways are going to be formed whether we like it or not. And so what I love about visualization is we get to kind of trick the brain. We get to be in control. We get to tell our brains the pathways that we want included into that neuroplasticity, into that changing and that shaping. And what's really interesting about our brains is that they don't always know about what's happening in real time versus what we're visualizing. And so what's cool is that we get to visualize stuff and our brains think that that's reality. And so we will move towards and take action towards what we are visualizing. And that can be good or it can be bad. When it rains, it pours, right? Or Murphy's Law. If you've ever heard of those things or experienced that in your life, you know what I'm talking about. For instance, I've known people who are terrified of certain things happening in their lives. And so they continually, over and over and over again, think about it or visualize it happening. And then what happens? It actually happens. And so this is almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but what really happens is our brains are so focused on that happening that we subconsciously take steps towards those things happening because our brains are creating those pathways, right? It's almost like you're looking to go buy a car. All of a sudden, you're starting to see them on the road more often. It's because our brains are starting to be programmed towards recognizing that. With all of these things being said, how can we use that to our advantage? Well, visualization is one of those big tools to use, and the science behind it and how to do it we talk about in that podcast. But how can we take it to the next level? Well, it's using the power of emotion within visualization to help embody it, help our brains feel like we've already achieved it so that subconsciously we're taking those steps forward in order to achieve the things that we want. A lot of people focus on the seeing part of visualization, but it's that feeling part that truly adds that depth and that power to the process. So again, stick with me until the end so that we can really engage in a hands-on visualization exercise together. I promise it's really easy, super easy. And you'll see how transformative it can be. Emotional visualization isn't just about seeing, but feeling a future scenario. It's about immersing yourself emotionally into that future success or that experience. In fact, a study from the National Institute of Health has shown that the stronger the emotional connection is to that visualization, the more likely it is to motivate action towards achieving it. That's pretty cool. So emotions make our visions memorable, impactful, turns vague aspirations into actual tangible goals that we can almost touch and feel. And that feeling, what you are visualizing is that secret sauce, right? Emotions are powerful motivators. We know this. We're motivated when we're feeling fear. We're motivated when we feel joy, right? And when we visualize and feel the joy or the pride or the adrenaline, our brain registers it as a genuine, actual experience. This can be the catalyst for finalizing a crucial decision or the last straw in making a significant career move. During your visualization sessions, allow yourself to feel those emotions. Allow yourself to feel the smile, the joy, the achievement, the satisfaction of overcoming that challenge, to feel excited, even cry if you need to. Let those emotions flow, because the more you can embody that moment and that visualization, the more it will cement in your brain and create that new neural pathway. And subconsciously, your actions will start moving towards it. It's not always about those positive emotions. When we are visualizing that thing that we want to get, those negative emotions are going to come up. It's okay to allow ourselves to recognize the fear, the doubts, the apprehensions. It's crucial because when we acknowledge negative feelings, when we understand them, then we can transform them into motivations and understand what might be holding us back. A lot of times people will visualize, hey, I want a life of travel, woo! But then they never actually go and do it because it's too scary to face the negative emotions. What if, this happens, or fear of this or whatever? And then they have a life full of regrets because they never went after this dream, or they never even analyzed that dream to see if it's actually what they really want. Maybe it's a dream that was passed down, or they thought that that's what they actually felt like they should want. When you are visualizing, it's about that emotional resonance within you, not about creating a fake yet perfect scenario. It's about finding what rings true to you. It's also helpful when those emotions come up to really get curious, right? We had a video last week about curiosity mindset. When you're able to go into these visualizations with that curiosity mindset and understand the emotions that come up, you're able to really get more crystal clear on, will those future scenarios be what's resonating for me? Is it in alignment, right? This is why it's so important. This is why I geek out about it so much, because like Jack and I talked about in our podcast yesterday, and what I will tell about now is I have had powerful visualizations where I have felt myself in a future version of myself, and it's how I've lost nearly 100 pounds, how I've changed my skin from being completely cystic acne, pocked and scarred, to being completely almost acne free. It's how I have changed myself from being someone who, and I don't know if you know my story, but I'm going to tell you now. I used to wake up every morning throwing up from anxiety and panic to being a confident version of myself. And it started not just from waking up and figuring out, what am I going to do today? It's from getting crystal clear and imagining what is the life that I want for myself, and then imagining what it would feel like to wake up confident, at peace, in a body that I feel confident in. It's also how I left my toxic work environment that landed me in the hospital and started this business where I get to help others do the same thing. And that was my journey, because I envisioned and I truly felt, what would it be like to have someone confident, assured of themselves, who knew what they were doing, helping me in this toxic environment get out. And I created a life where I could be that person. I want you now, if this is something that you are interested in, let's give it a try. So what I am going to do is I am going to ask you to close your eyes. Let's experience the power of visualization together. If you're in a place where you can, I encourage you, join in on this exercise and experience it firsthand. So find a comfortable place to sit, rest. If you're at your desk, take a deep breath. Feel the air fill your lungs and slowly exhale. Feel the weight of your body against the chair, your bed, or your floor. Notice any sounds or sensations around you. Get clear, centered, and present in the moment. I want you to take this time to imagine a future where you've already achieved your most important career goal. Maybe it's achieving success in the project that you're already working in. Maybe it's landing your next dream job. Maybe it's starting your own business. I want you to start engaging your senses. What do you see around you? Picture the environment. What's the view from the chair that you're sitting in? What does your office look like? Can you hear applause from your team for a job well done? Look down in your mind's eye at what you're wearing. What color is the top that you're wearing? What does your office chair look like? How do you make your decisions? What are some of the values that you hold dear to you at this stage? What decisions would you make? Who are the people that you're surrounded by? What are some of the things that they're saying to you? How do they feel about you after you've accomplished this? What does success look like for you? What does this version of you do? What time did you wake up? What time did you go to sleep? What did your day look like? Did you have a routine? How are you going to celebrate this accomplishment? And now the most crucial part. How did this accomplishment make you feel? Do you feel a surge of pride rising up from your belly or in your chest? Do you feel the tingles of goosebumps up and down your arms or legs? Do you feel excited? Do you feel excited about the fact that you took this on and did a job well done? Are you satisfied? Let those emotions swell in your chest, in your heart, in your belly. Take a second and view yourself in that chair, in your office, feeling the emotions of a job well done. And hold on to that image and those emotions for a deep breath. I want you to take a mental picture and hold it in your heart and remember the feelings that you've had, and gently start bringing yourself back to the present and open your eyes. And I want you to reflect. How was that experience for you? What emotions did you feel? How clear was the vision for you? Do you feel motivated? Do you feel different in this moment than you did before we started the visualization? When you are feeling any type of way when it comes to stress or anxiety, imposter syndrome, or if you're simply unclear about what the future holds for you and your career, this visualization technique is going to help you gain so much clarity. If you did that visualization with me and perhaps you felt negative emotions, that's a sign for you. Maybe that project or that goal that you're going after isn't aligned with your values and who you are. Remember, visualization is not just about seeing your future. It's about feeling it in the present, getting clarity and moving towards that next step. When your heart and your mind is aligned, that's when that magic happens. I would love to hear from you. How was that exercise? What did you see? What did you feel? How do you feel now? Drop it in the comments. I absolutely want to know, and I will come back and respond. And also, while you're there in the comments, let me know, do you want more of these type of future career visualizations or meditations? It's something that Jack and I are obsessed with because we have noticed how they help us stay centered, motivated, and aligned with our purpose and our vision and our values. It's hard. It's hard if you're in a job search. It's hard if you're in a stressful or toxic environment to gain clarity and to stay centered. So if that's something that you guys want, where it's some meditations or visualizations or some visual meditations, let me know. We'll make an effort to add those into our weekly videos for you as well. I want to thank you for your time today, and I would love to hear from you. And stay tuned for the rest of November. We are talking next week about the power of gratitude. This is also a huge, huge, huge career hack. And I know it sounds like everyone talks about gratitude, but we are going over so many benefits of gratitude for your Thanksgiving week if you're in the US. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have an amazing week. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so that you can stay tuned for future episodes, and have a great week.